Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ladies Show English. Today, I'm thrilled to help you improve your English. In this video, we'll learn common English phrases and sentences you might hear or use at the bank. We'll cover 5 typical banking scenarios, and for each one, I'll explain key words and phrases, show example sentences, and share tips for using them in real life. As you listen, you can also practice shadowing. That means repeating the sentences right after me. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video and practice saying the phrases out loud. This way, you'll not only understand the meaning but also train your speaking and listening skills. Here's how the video is structured. We'll cover opening an account, depositing and withdrawing money, applying for a credit card, exchanging foreign currency, and asking about bank services. Each scenario will include useful vocabulary, example sentences, and practical advice to help you feel confident at the bank. Let's get started. The first scenario is opening a bank account. When you want to save money or manage your finances, you need to open an account at a bank. There are 2 common types of accounts, a savings account for saving money and a checking account for daily transactions, like paying bills. To open an account, you need identification, or ID, such as a passport or driver's license, and proof of address, like a utility bill or rental agreement. You'll also need to fill out a form with your personal details, such as your name, address, and phone number. Here's a useful phrase, I'd like to open a savings account. Let's break it down. I'd like to is a polite way to say I want to, and is perfect for formal settings like a bank. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'd like to open a savings account. Great job. The bank teller might say, do you have any ID with you? Here, ID means identification, and do you have is a polite question. They might also ask, can you provide proof of address? Let's practice this question. Do you have any ID with you? Well done. Always bring your ID and proof of address to the bank. For example, I keep my passport and a recent electricity bill in a folder when I visit the bank. It makes the process faster. When filling out the form, write clearly to avoid mistakes. Imagine you're at the bank. Say to the teller, I'd like to open a checking account, please. Now try, here's my ID and proof of address. Next, let's talk about depositing and withdrawing money. Depositing means putting money into your account, and withdrawing means taking money out. You usually do this with a teller, the person at the bank counter, or at an ATM. For depositing, you can say, I'd like to deposit $500 into my checking account. Deposit means adding money, and into shows which account the money goes to. A checking account is great for daily expenses because you can access the money easily. Let's practice. I'd like to deposit $500 into my checking account. For withdrawing, you can politely say, can I withdraw $200, please? Using can I is a common and polite way to make a request. The teller might ask for your account number or check your balance, which is the total money in your account. Let's practice. Can I withdraw $200, please? Real-life example. Last week, I went to the bank and said, I'd like to deposit $300 into my savings account. The teller asked for my account number, so I showed my bank card. It was quick and simple. Listening practice. Listen carefully. If someone says, I'd like to deposit $500, how much money are they putting into their account? That's right, $500. If they say, "Can I withdraw $200? How much are they taking out?" Correct, $200. Tip: always double-check the amount you're depositing or withdrawing. Also, keep your bank card or account number handy to make the process smoother. Now, let's learn about applying for a credit card. A credit card lets you borrow money to pay for things, but you need to pay it back later. To apply, you can say, "I'd like to apply for a credit card." The phrase apply for means to formally request something, like a card or a job. Let's practice. I'd like to apply for a credit card. The bank might talk about the interest rate, which is the percentage you pay for borrowing money, or the annual fee, which is a yearly cost for some cards. For example, you can ask, "What is the interest rate?" This is an important question to understand the card's cost. Let's practice. What is the interest rate? The bank will also mention approval, which means whether they accept your application, and you'll need to fill out an application form with details like your income. Another key term is credit limit, the maximum amount you can borrow on the card. Tip: before applying, ask about the annual fee and credit limit. For example, I always ask, "Is there an annual fee for this card?" to avoid surprises. Practice prompt: try saying, "I'd like to apply for a credit card with no annual fee." Great work! Sometimes, you need to exchange money for travel or other reasons. This is called foreign currency exchange. For example, you can say, "I'd like to exchange $100 to euros." The phrase exchange, to, shows the currencies you're switching. Let's practice. I'd like to exchange $100 to euros. You can also ask, "What's the exchange rate today?" The exchange rate tells you how much one currency is worth in another. For example, if $1 equals 0.85 euros, you'll get 85 euros for $100, minus any fee. The words buy and sell are used when exchanging currency, and amount refers to the total money. Real-life example. When I traveled to Europe, I said, "I'd like to exchange $200 to euros." The teller told me the exchange rate and a small fee, so I knew exactly how much I'd get. Listening practice. Listen, if someone says, "I'd like to exchange $100 to euros, what currency do they want?" That's right, euros. Tip: always check the exchange rate and any fees before exchanging money. It helps you avoid losing too much to fees. Finally, let's learn how to ask about bank services. You might want an account statement, which shows your recent transactions, or ask about online banking, which lets you manage your account on a website or app. For example, you can say, "Can I get my account statement, please?" Let's practice. Can I get my account statement, please? Another useful question is, do you offer online banking services? The phrase "do you offer" is a polite way to ask about available services. Other terms to know include loan, mortgage, teller, and branch. Real-life example. I once asked, "Do you offer online banking?" and the teller showed me how to download their app. It made paying bills so easy. Tip: if you're unsure about a bank's services, ask questions like, "Do you offer loans?" or "Can I get a mortgage here?" It's a great way to learn your options. That's it for today's video on Lady Show English. We covered 5 key banking scenarios: opening an account, depositing and withdrawing money, applying for a credit card, exchanging foreign currency, and asking about bank services. We learned practical phrases like I'd like to, can I, and what's the, along with important vocabulary like ID, deposit, interest rate, and exchange rate. I encourage you to practice these sentences by saying them out loud, either on your own or with a friend. For example, try saying, I'd like to deposit $100, or, can I withdraw $50, please? The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Lady Show English, and click the bell icon so you don't miss any new English listening videos. See you next time.